So today, we're going to talk about a huge shift happening in our economy, the move to what's called a circular model. And we'll get into how this is way more than just sustainability. It's about writing a whole new playbook for how businesses make a profit.
All right, let's just jump right in with a number that's, well, it's pretty hard to wrap your head around. Over 2 billion tons of waste every single year. That's the leftovers from our current economic system. It's not just trash. It's lost resources, it's lost value, and it's a huge bill for the environment.
But here's a thought. What if we've been looking at this whole thing completely backwards? This question changes everything. It suggests that waste isn't some unavoidable side effect of having stuff. Nope, it's actually a failure of imagination. A basic mistake in how we design, market, and sell things in the first place.
So where does this flaw come from? Well, it's actually baked right into the DNA of traditional business. We call it the linear economy, and it's basically a one-way street that leads straight to the landfill.
And you can really see the difference laid out right here. On the left, you've got that linear model. We take resources, we make a product, and then we throw it away. Simple but incredibly wasteful. But on the right, you see the circular model. It's a continuous loop where things are made, used, and then returned back into the system instead of becoming garbage.
Okay, so if the old way is broken, what's the fix? That brings us to the big idea here, the circular economy. And this isn't just a little tweak to the system, it's a complete rethink from the ground up.
At its core, the circular economy is all about regeneration, not just extraction. The whole goal is to separate economic growth from using up the planet's finite resources. It's a whole new way of thinking about how we can design a system that's good for business, for people, and for the environment.
And it's not just a vague idea. It's built on 3 really clear principles. First up, you design waste and pollution out from the very beginning. Second, you do everything you can to keep products and materials in use for as long as possible. And third, you actively help regenerate natural systems, instead of just taking from them.
All right, now for the part that really matters, especially if you're in business. How does this actually work, financially? How do you measure success when your goal isn't just to sell more and more and more units?
Well, it means you have to start measuring totally different things. In the linear world, it's all about one thing. How many units did we sell? But in the circular world, success looks like subscriptions, leases, and the lifetime value of a customer. Your most important metric suddenly becomes your material return rate, because that's a direct measure of how efficient and smart your business really is.
And this chart, wow, it just says it all. That short bar, that's your quick revenue spike from a one-time sale. But then, it's over. Now look at that tall bar. That's the product as a service model. It's predictable, recurring revenue that just keeps growing. You're not just selling a thing, you're selling an ongoing service, and that unlocks so much more value over time.
And listen, this isn't just some business school theory. Some of the most forward-thinking companies out there are already putting this into practice, right now, and they are absolutely crushing it.
So how are they doing it? Well, think about things like modular phones that are designed to be easily repaired, or outdoor gear companies that actually want you to bring back your old stuff. It's about switching to subscriptions instead of ownership, and building facilities that can turn old products into good-as-new assets.
And the results? They can be absolutely mind-blowing. We're talking about companies that see their customer lifetime value jump by as much as 300%. Why? It's simple, really. The whole relationship changes from a single transaction to a long-term partnership, and that builds incredible loyalty.
Now, this goes way beyond just customer relationships. This is about building a business that's fundamentally stronger, more resilient, and way more attractive for the future.
It's really a powerful combo. You're creating new, predictable revenue streams. You're reducing how much you depend on volatile prices for raw materials. You're building that deep brand loyalty we talked about. And by creating a smarter system, you're lowering your overall business risk. It's a win on every single front.
And for anyone looking ahead, here's the real bottom line. A circular model is a massive boost to your company's ESG profile. Environmental, social, and governance. The things that modern investors care about deeply. A circular business signals that you're serious about smart, sustainable growth.
So, as we start to wrap up here, it all comes down to one really big question about longevity. Are we actually building businesses that are designed to last?
You're hearing things like this from leaders in every single industry now. The shift is already underway. Companies that are still clinging to that old take, make, dispose model, well, they risk getting left in the dust by competitors who are more efficient, more innovative, and more resilient. This isn't just a trend, it's a deep economic transformation.
And that brings us right to our final question, a question for you to really think about. Is your business built for a world of one-time transactions and finite resources, or are you ready to build for a future that is regenerative, relationship-driven, and, you guessed it, circular?